Welcome, everyone. Welcome. We're going to be starting in a few minutes. So for today, we are actually going to be going over AP Art, right? And how to score a score of 5, right? For all of you guys who are coming in, we'll be expecting a lot of interesting information, and we'll also be having some guest speakers from our students who have finished up AP artwork in the past, right? So, uh, before everything gets started, I would like to share, while waiting, right? I would like everyone to take a look at the three examples up on the screen, right? We have three very, very different examples. And while we're not going to give you the answer right away, right? I hope you guys can take a guess and keep that answer that you have in mind. Which one do you think came from a portfolio that scored a perfect score of 5, right? I'll give it another minute for people to come in before I get started. Okay, you can kind of see there's three very distinct, different ones, right? I think all three of them actually did a fantastic job. They all have very different themes. They're all from different students, right? But I'm pretty sure you guys have started getting a good idea of what you guys might consider a really, really polished painting or a very polished illustration, and might be deserving of a perfect score. All right. We are at 7:34. I think we have enough people. So let's begin. Right. Today, we are going to welcome our very, very esteemed speakers. First up, Mr. Chow. He is our AP program leader at CalColor. So he is the guy who has written all of the AP curriculum, and he is also the guy who is teaching AP at CalColor. There's myself, Mr. Joseph. I'm a senior instructor at CalColor, digital art teacher as well as AP instructor. There's Mr. Tian. He's also a senior AP instructor. And I'm also welcoming Mr. Su, who is a senior portfolio development prep instructor, right? And as mentioned before, we're also going to have three very, very welcome guests. So we have Isabella, who is in the 11th grade. She has finished up her AP art in the previous years. And then there's also Catherine, who is also a student who has finished up their AP art. They're in the 12th grade. And finally, we also have Adia. Unfortunately, Adia is not able to join us today, so we will be, Mr. Chow will be helping us share her portion. Okay, so for what we're going over today, right? The first thing that we're gonna listen is, or question is what the AP art is and what rules we have to conform to. And then we'll learn a lot more about the AP segments moving on from here, right? How to score 5. We'll go over our student examples, and then we'll talk a little bit about how we will help you guys out. So let's move on. Okay, Mr. Chow, I would like to ask you, how do we actually, what are the rules around AP art?
Okay, thanks a lot, Joseph. So you can you can move on to this next slide. Yeah. So basically for the APR structure, the APR is a portfolio-based course where the student develop their kind of like artistic skills and submit a digital portfolio for the college level evaluation. And you can take it like a pre-college art course or something. And there are three different pathways the student can choose from. The first one is AP 2D art and design, and then the AP 3D art and design, and the last one is the AP drawing. And for the AP 2D, it's mainly focused on the area like the photography, graphic design, collage, or like digital or mixed media work. The AP 3D emphasizes mainly on sculpture, ceramic, like architectural models. Is mainly about like a three-dimensional forms or the mediums artworks, and you can submit like multiple photos to represent the different angle or the views of your artwork, and or like installation thing. So the AP drawing centers on like a traditional and experimental drawing and painting practice. So no matter which pathway student choose, the goal is to build a like creativity and concept and your technical skills and also strong artistic voice. And you can see that we kind of block out the middle 3D art because for the color we mainly focus on the 2D drawing and AP drawing and 2D art and design for now. The next, Joseph. Yeah, thank you. So here's one of the very important dates for all the APR students to remember. The official APR and design portfolio submission deadline is Friday, May 8th, 2026, and this is for the current year deadline. And every year they, pretty much have the similar date as the due date, like around the May 10th. So by the deadline, all portfolio components must be marked as the final in the AP Digital Portfolio portal, like a system, in order to be scored by the College Board or the AP readers. So I also encourage the students not to wait until the last minute. And the strong AP portfolio requires the time for like revision, photography, sequencing, and the written reflection, or we call it written evidence. And usually the teachers or the school may also set an earlier internal deadline. So the students should, like our students should stay organized and plan ahead. We may have some like a final review or like a final critique, just in case they need some final touch or adjustment. So finishing earlier gives the students definitely more opportunity to improve the presentation quality, and it makes a thoughtful final adjustment to their portfolio. And the next. So there's a portfolio components thing, and it's quite structured. The portfolio has two major sections. We call it system investigation and the selected works. So the system investigation section makes up like 60% of the AP score, and they include 15 digital images. And in this section, student explores a central idea or question or inquiry through a series of connected artworks or very consistent pieces. The focus is on the experimentation, growth, and showing the development of the idea over time. And the section two, the selected work section, counts for the remaining like 40% of the score, and including 5 high quality works. And these pieces are chosen to demonstrate the student's strongest technical skills and artistic achievement. So sometimes the student may use the work from their the previous system investigation, which is 15 pieces in this section as well. So they won't, so they don't always to create 5 completely separate pieces. So in total, you can choose to submit either 15 pieces to 20 pieces for your AP portfolio. Next one.
Thank you,
Okay.
Chow. I did want to
Yeah.
ask you, right?
Right.
Since we've talked so much about all of the different kinds of or all the different components to AP, but you mentioned earlier there's 2 types of AP, right? What
Right.
is the
Right.
main
Exactly.
differences between the two?
Okay. Thank you, Joseph. This is a very great question, and a lot of parents may be concerned about this, and also students were kind of confused how to choose the path they wanted to develop, right? So between the AP drawing and AP design, and what is the difference, right? So the AP drawing focus on more on the traditional drawing skills and the visual elements such as the lines, the light shading, composition, and the space. So the portfolio is evaluated heavily on the technical ability and the mark making skills. So they can still work in the many media or the formality, but the emphasis is on the drawing based practice. So it's more about the skill sets. And on the other hand, for the AP 2D design, the emphasis is the focus more on the creative design, visual communication, and experimentation. So the student may work with the photography, graphic design, collage, digital art, or mixed media instead of the only technical drawing skill. So there's a much broader like a range for the students to choose or develop. And the portfolio highlights idea development, innovation, and how effectively the artists use the design principles. So both courses encourage the creativity and personal expression, but they emphasize on the different artistic strengths.
Thank you, Chow. So, what kind of benefits would there be for us students to take AP Art then?
Okay, so for the AP art offer the student many valuable benefits beyond just creating the artwork itself. And usually we call it like a triple play, you know. So first, it can help to strengthen the student GPA through the advanced level coursework. And this is also, I mean, if the student take the APR class in their high school, and this is also widely recognized by college and many universities appreciate the discipline, creativity, and independent thinking demonstrated through the APR portfolio. And another major advantage is the opportunity to earn the college credit, uh, like which can save both time and tuition costs in the future. So in addition, a strong AP portfolio can support the scholarship applications and make the student more competitive during the college admission. Like I said, this is a kind of pre-college level art study or like a visual art journey study uh, experience. So most importantly, the students finish the course with like a polished portfolio that can be used for art school appreciation. Art school applications, in internships or competitions, and future creative opportunities. And the skills developed in the APR, concept development, research, experimentation, and visual communication, they're all very valuable for the beyond the classroom for their future art development.
Oh, right. Thank you so much, Tian. Sorry, thank you so much, Chow. I want to actually invite our next teacher, Mr. Tian, to help give us a good idea of how. It's very important for us to take AP Art, so what is the secret to getting a top score of 5? Mr. Tian?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Joseph. Yeah, we're gonna start. Yeah. First of all, we wanna take a look of these three AP art from our students on the screen and guess which one you think got the highest AP score. So I believe most people will probably choose the works look more realistic and then technically strong. But actually, the highest scoring work is the second one, which is the work B. You know, interestingly, this piece is probably not is the weakest one in terms of the R skill. So now you may be wondering, why did this work get a higher score even though the other works seem technically better? And the reason is AP art is not just about the drawing skills. The AP exam focuses more on ideas, investigation, development, and then artistic thinking. So today we're gonna take a look how AP art really scored and also why strong technical skill alone is not enough for get a 5. Yeah, let's go to the next page. So this is a real example from our AP drawing portfolio. This portfolio received a score of 5. So this portfolio explore how people adapt life during the pandemic, and then the students focus on the topic like online classes, social media, stay at home, hobbies, loneliness, and then also the hope during the quarantine. Across the portfolio, we can see bedrooms, screens, indoor space, and then the scenes from everyday life. The student used those image to show how people emotionally changed during the pandemic. What is interesting is that this technical drawing is not really strong. And also some of the anatomy perspective and rendering technique is clearly imperfect. But even with those weakness of this portfolio, still earn the highest scores, which is a 5. Why? Because investigation is very clear, and also the idea are connected, and the students show strong artistic development across the portfolio. Okay, let's go to the next page. And now let's take a look at the strengths and also weakness of this portfolio more closely. So first of all, the weakness is very obvious, right? The anatomy sometimes is inconsistent and the perspective is not always accurate. And also there are some clear technical flaws in the drawing. So overall, the technical skill level is probably not advanced. However, this portfolio had three major strengths. First, the inquiry is very clear. Every artwork connects back to the main idea about the life during the pandemic. And second, the student shows continued experimentation and revision. So we can see the idea growing and changing over the time. And the third, the whole portfolio feel visually connected. The color, the indoor space, the technology element, the emotions all work together as one investigation. So even though the drawing skill are not the strongest, the concept and the communication is very successful. Okay, we can go to the next page. Yes. And now let's compare this portfolio to the official AP scoring rubric. As you can see on this page, this portfolio reached the highest level, which is 3. So in row A, row B, and row C, this means the inquiry is clear, and the experimentation and the revision are strong, and the visual relationship works very well together. Only the technical skill category is slightly lower, around 2 instead of a perfect 3. But even with this weaker like a technical score, the portfolio still receive a final scores of 5 overall. So this is very important because it shows that AP really valued artistic thinking and investigation more than perfect drawing technical alone. Okay, next page, please. Yeah, and now let's take a look at another portfolio example. So this portfolio received a score of 4. Interestingly, many of this work from this portfolio actually won, the artworks win a lot of scholastic awards, some including many region gold and silver key awards. So technically, this student is very strong. The portfolio explore themes like identity, memory, transformation, and also personal growth. The students use paper and an origami as a symbol across the work. The portfolio also use many different media, including digital painting, charcoal, collage, graphite, and also colored pencil. Visually, the artwork are very polished and impressive. The lighting, rendering, composition are all very strong. However, even though this individual works beautiful, but overall, investigation feel less connected and then less developed compared with the previous one, which is the 5-score portfolio. We can take a look at the next page. Yeah, now let's take a look at the strengths first. So for this portfolio, the biggest strengths, of course, very obvious, is definitely the art skills. The rendering skill is very strong, and then also the composition are professional and visually interesting. And also students use material with confidence, but the weakness is also very obvious. First of all, the inquiry feel too general. The idea about the identify and also transformation are interesting, but they are not fully developed across all works. Second, although there is some experimentation but the portfolio does not show any enough deeper revision or artistic growth over time. And the third, while the paper symbol appear repeatedly, the artwork do not always feel fully connected as one investigation. So overall, this portfolio feel more like a collection of beautiful individual artworks instead of one unified investigation. Let's go to the next page, please. Yep. Now let's compare this portfolio to official rubric as well. So as you can see here on this page, the row A, row B, and row C mostly stay around the level 2 range. That means this inquiry is not fully sustained. And then also the experimentation quite limited. And also the connection between the artworks are not completely convincing. So only the row D, which is focused on the technical drawing skill, reach a very high skill. So even though the student's drawing ability is much stronger than the previous one, the final AP score is still lower. So this example clearly shows that strong technical alone not enough to guarantee a top AP score. Let's go to the next page, please. Thank you. So after looking at all the 3 portfolios, we can clearly see one very important idea, which is the portfolio, with a strong drawing skills that not always receive the highest AP scores. In the AP art, technical area like drawing skills, materials, and design skills only make up about 45% of the evaluation. And the other 55% percentage focus on the inquiry, experimentation, revision, artistic process, and also investigation. So while students are building their AP portfolios, they should always ask themselves three very important questions. First, does our work clearly help develop and deepen my inquiry? And second, am I showing meaningful explanation, revision, and also growth across the portfolio? And the third, do my artworks feel connected as one investigation? So if you can clearly answer those three questions, then you will have much stronger AP portfolio. Okay, that will be all. And now I will handle this to Mr. Joseph, and then also we will invite our students to share their real learning experience with AP Art. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Tian. Thank you, thank
Thank you.
you. That was very informative, and that was a very good and in-depth analysis of what makes a good portfolio that scores 5. And as Mr. Tian said, let's welcome our students from the past who have who has finished their own AP portfolios, and they're here to share their experience with AP art. First up, we're gonna have Isabella. Isabella, are you ready? Oops.
Yeah.
All right. In that case, let me stop the screen share and then you can take over.
Okay. So my name is Isabella or Bella, and I've been taking classes at Color for several years now. So I'll be sharing some of my AP works as well as some things that I've learned. So some fun facts about me include that I'm interested in medicine, design, marketing, chemistry, and education, and I'm in 10th grade at the Harker School. So last year I took Color's AP Art Drawing, and then this year I finished the AP Art 2D. And I also took all the PD prep classes that come forward. So my AP Art drawing topic was transition from childhood to adolescence. And then the left work was called Buried, and it ended up winning a Scholastic Gold National Medal. And then the right one is a watercolor with digital overlay, and it's called Study Buddies, which won a Scholastic Silver National Medal. Here are some more of my works, and the left one is called Muted. It was supposed to kind of represent like what I was consuming versus what I wanted to spend my time on. And I use acrylic marker. And then the right one is more like material exploration, and I use linoleum stamps that I cut out to represent my shoes, like when I grew up. So here are a couple more works. And the leftmost one is where I use watercolor and graphite. And every like couple of people in the background is me and my mom at different like stages in life. And then the middle is vine charcoal with some digital overlay, and it represents my relationship with my cat. And then the third one is oil painting, and it represents my relationship with my studies. So this is one of the projects I worked on in my AP Art drawing portfolio. And I was inspired to create it because one of the prompts was deconstruction and reconstruction. So it's my room, except the top right corner and the bottom left corner are flipped. So I wanted to represent disorientation. And so I also added these like flaps from tracing paper that were like myself over time throughout my room. And later, like this was the initial part on the left. And then later on the right, my art teachers encouraged me to find a way to further like explore how I can capture that feeling of memories and remembering the past. So I decided to also add a flap that's just my mom sitting, so I could have these two side by side. And then this is a work I worked on recently for my AP Art 2D portfolio. And my topic was isolation from family in China. And then the left one is the original again. And the idea I had was me reheating dumplings that my grandma made from when she was living in America. And then the wontons are made out of like post-it notes. Um, but I got a lot of feedback saying that it was kind of hard to tell why I painted my face to be upset, and then whether or not these wontons were in a pot. So then later I did some revisions with acrylic marker. But I did end up submitting both for my sustained investigation to show my process. So the result was I did end up getting a 5 last year on my APR drawing. And then, as I showed earlier, I got some Scholastic National Medals. And through the APR program, I think I learned a lot about material exploration and time management since I had to finish so many pieces in not that much time. And I did appreciate that CalColor did have like a timeline set in place, so there were milestones I had in mind. And then also there were a few weeks at the end of the course where we had more time to do revision before the due date. And then I also think that I gained the confidence to create art that explores more personal themes, like both of my topics. And one big thing that I learned is like what Mr. Chan was talking about with how Scholastic and AP are looking for really different things. And my biggest piece of advice would be to not be afraid about trying new topics or mediums, especially for AP, because it's really important that when you're creating a portfolio, to stand out to judges, exploration, you need exploration, and it also allows you to learn more throughout your artistic process. So on the slide, here are some progress images I submitted to my AP 2D this year. Okay, thank you for listening.
All right. Thank you so much, Isabella. That was a wonderful portfolio, and thank you so much for sharing your art, your experience as well. Great job. All right. Following up, let's invite Catherine. Catherine, are you ready?
Yeah, okay. Let
All
me
right.
just share my screen. Where is this? All right. Hello everyone. My name's Catherine. I am a 12th grader at Mission San Jose High School, and I've been learning art at CalColor for 5 years. Yeah, I've done like digital painting, and like I've been in the digital PD class as well as just the normal portfolio development class. And some personal interests of mine, I really like Tetris and drawing for fun. And I guess like my art is like mostly just digital art, and here's some artists that are like that I really look up to and do kind of want to imitate. How do I go to the next slide? Yeah, so here's my okay, yeah, here's my AP portfolio. My main like my sustained investigation topic was like just like how academic pressure and social anxiety interact. So yeah, here like this piece is just like this was like about like my social anxiety, like how I feel like I couldn't really like understand how other people could just talk to each other, and like I interpreted that by like making it so that they were literally speaking nonsense because that's kind of what I was hearing, even though but like they were like happy, right? And I wanted to be like that. But like yeah, and then for this piece, like this was just about academic pressure and just like staying up late because that's like a cup of coffee. This one's about social anxiety and how I just stay inside all day. Well, I used to stay inside all day, and I was like practically living in my computer, living online, talking to people online. Yeah, and this one was yeah, wait, this one was like crap, whatchamacallit? Yeah, this one was about also about my social anxiety, just like the fear that everybody was talking about me or just like getting overstimulated in public in general. But yeah, and then this one about how I stay inside. Oh, whoops, I accidentally included it twice. I'm sorry, guys. And this one was just about how like even when I was like hanging out with friends that I felt comfortable with, I, like just like the whole academic pressure thing was like just slowly creeping up behind you, even if you're supposed to be having fun. And this was about like just this one was just about like the whole social anxiety thing again, which was just like going outside, touching grass, but like wearing a hazmat suit because like you're still worried that it might be dangerous. All right, yeah, and I guess like my main problem was that like I don't know, I was like low key kind of like there was like this one day where I was like really tired and I had like no ideas. And like I kind of just like kept writing tired on like this mind map that we use to like create like to like come up with ideas to create our pieces. And eventually I came up with the idea of like counting sheep, but like the way I implemented it, like I feel like it wasn't very strong. Like you can see like here, this was like my before. And like after discussing with like my teacher, like we came up with like a lot of like some like ways to enhance this. Like for one, just adding like this blur effect to everything except for the sheep to make it kind of look like I was falling asleep, and adding some details to make it like more clear what was going on, and just making the sheep overall just more realistic instead of this like really cartoonish style to like make them really pop out, because like they're supposed to be like I'm supposed to be like falling asleep, right? Everything around is blurry and I'm like entering like a more dreamlike world. So we enhance like what like the more dreamlike elements, right? And yeah, another problem I ran into was that like yeah, like I was like trying to thumbnail because I was trying to depict my room being really cluttered because I used to stay inside a lot. And I guess some issues I ran into is that I kind of already did that. So like having just my room being cluttered, it didn't really like just I guess convey like the social part of it, right? So like I talked to my teacher and like the teacher asked like some very relevant questions like what is it exactly that you want to convey? And like let's just say that I said that like I wanted to convey the feeling of being like trapped in my room. And maybe he'd like ask me about which section of my theme I'd wanted to focus on, like, right? Because like my theme is like mostly just two things, which is just academic pressure, socially anxious. And yeah, since I already had like a room piece, which is here, it's really small. I don't know if you can see it, but I already had like a room piece with all of my like school stuff. We focused on like the whole like staying away from people part, and to better convey it, like my teacher actually like added the people here, and just yeah, having like a whole bunch of people looming over me and like this coffinish burialish thing, which I think conveyed like what I was going for really well. Yeah, and from this, like, I think gonna give like two main takeaways, which is like one, just like to communicate, just like say the stuff that like you don't really have fully fleshed out yet. Like if you're struggling coming with ideas, like even if you haven't gotten your ideas like super straight yet, because like there might be like something worth like discussing there, right? And just like being able to bounce this idea back and forth, like that's what helped me a lot at least. And as for the second one, all right, actually, guys, I lied. The second one is still just to communicate. Specifically, it's also to just make sure you're not just like nodding along to whatever the teachers say, and to like actually speak up if you want to take the piece in like a different direction, and not get stuck working on a piece that like doesn't doesn't feel authentic to you, right? Yeah, yeah. And yeah, from the result for the result and growth, like yeah, I'm here because I scored a 5 on APTDR in design, as well as like, I scored like a couple of gold keys for my work. Like it was labeled earlier on like the other piece, but yeah, on like, sorry, the other slide. Yeah, I won some Scholastic Awards, and I got accepted into University of California, Irvine for as an art major. So I'm gonna be there this fall. Yay. Yeah, and here are like all the stuff I got with my like obviously the AP5, so like a few gold keys, a silver key, and I applied for some scholarships as well. And yeah, right now like currently I applied to like a thing called Olive Hyde Guild Scholarship, whatever. It's like a biannual competition, and I got selected as a finalist. So I'm gonna be there Friday. But yeah, it's I got a lot of mileage out of these artworks. And yeah, and in addition to just like, the like more tangible stuff, I guess, like I also like developed an actual process for getting ideas instead of just like relying on getting stricken by sudden inspiration. And yeah, which is, very helpful for meeting your deadlines. Like I think as Isabella said earlier, like she had like a more like streamlined process, so like she could like create like artworks for like, school academics, like work maybe more easily. And I also like learned how to communicate art related ideas to my teachers and peers. And I think that's just like the main takeaway from my experiences, which is just to like, talk to your teachers, talk to your peers, because like, yeah, I used to be like, yeah, I used to be like really scared of communicating about my ideas because like I was just like scared like everyone's gonna judge me. But like, like after actually talking to my teachers and getting so much help from them, like I feel like I've gotten a lot more confident, which is also like why I'm like able to talk here today at all. But yeah. I think yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Sweet. Thank you so much, Catherine. It's good to see you again. And thank you so much for sharing your experience as well. Now, I want to also introduce Adia. However, Adia is not able to be here today, so her segment will be covered by Mr. Chow. So let me prepare the screen share and let's go over to Adia's slide here. All right, Mr. Chow, take it away.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Joseph. Um, so based on my teaching experience, I believe that ADIA is a strong example of how. Wait, Joseph, I think your screen
Yeah,
share is not showing.
I think it is stuck a little bit. Give me a second.
Okay,
Oh,
no
there it
worries.
is.
Yeah. Okay, great. So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I believe ADIA is a strong example of how like strategic portfolio development can really successfully support the students who are working under significant time constraints. And she only joined the AP program for approximately like a half a year, actually, even though we are AP program last like a yearly based curriculum. Um, so she probably missed a half of the prompts or inspiration, like slides thing, the lectures. So at the beginning, her technical drawing and painting skills were still like developing. As you may notice that her skill set is not very strong. Um, so because of this, our approach focused not only on the technical improvement, but more importantly on building a conceptually cohesive and visually intelligent portfolio within a limited time frame. So her portfolio investigates an anxiety of growing up, and you can read the middle like statement. Growing up and the desire to preserve the emotional freedom and individually within the pressure of the like adulthood. So throughout the body of the work, like water, we kind of figured out the consistent elements to kind of go through most of her art pieces, which is the water, became a recurring metaphor, like representing the lightness, escape, vulnerability, and emotional release. So to strengthen the continuity of the portfolio, I guided her to maintaining the recurring visual elements like a visual language thing, including the fragmented space, floating composition, symbolic objects, and also carefully like control the color atmosphere, um, like the poetic vibes. So this repeated visual structure helped to unify the portfolio even as the media and the format become increasingly diverse. So since the time was limited, we intentionally expanded beyond the traditional observational painting and incorporated a wide range of approaches, including, as you can tell from the images, including the installation-based work, process experimentation, mixed media, and also some digital planning over the traditional works, and also symbolic narrative construction. So this strategy allow her to kind of compensate for her technical limitation while still demonstrating the strong inquiry, and also her personal voice. Uh, so all of which are highly important with the AP evaluation criteria. So like what I believe is especially important in this case is that the portfolio was not built around the perfect rendering, right? Um, but around the thoughtful visual decision making, consistency of the theme, and also the student's authentic emotional perspective. So through the efficient portfolio planning and targeted guidance, she was ultimately able to achieve a score 5 within a very condensed preparation period. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you, Chow. That was very informative on Adia's case. All right, moving on, I would like to invite again Mr. Chow as well as Mr. Su to talk a little bit about our approach to AP art. Mr. Su?
Hi. We launched our APR program back in 2024, and we officially accredited by the College Board and authorized to offer AP courses, also registered administrative exam. Our AP course prepared advanced art students to develop and refine their artistic technique, methods, and generate original artwork. This course emphasized the creation of a portfolio that demonstrates skillful synthesis of and materials, process, and ideas, with a focus on both sustained investigation and selective work. Students will engage in written and verbal communication to present and critique their work. They also gonna study the social, cultural, and historical dimensions and aspect of the art. The course is in the course is in by the submission of a portfolio reflects the student's artistic growth and ability to apply artistic theory methodology across different art forms and disciplines. Next slide. About our calculator achievements, so at the AP, about our AP program, we have like 100% of score. We have 100% rate like for students who got a 5 score in their AP exam. 32% compared to other like other part like AP on the College Board. There's only like 30%, 32% who got a 5 score rate, and 34% on the other 2D 2D design with their five score rate. So as you can see, we have calculator has a very uh, like a big huge difference from like compared to other uh, like a regular school or other school after school program. Next slide, please. Okay. Um, uh, Next, we're gonna talk about our portfolio development teaching team. So our teaching team is made up of top art school alumni, which who are active and exhibited artists. Beyond the classroom, they bring real-world expertise from the entertainment industry, film, and UI and UX industry. So they also have experience with professional curation and college level instructions. We have, by the way, the art teacher that we have are Mr. Elvin, Mr. Joseph, Mr. Chow, and Mr. Tian, as well as Mr. Shang. Next slide. So here we're gonna talk about the curriculum. So here the teach we as a, we developed a 36-week curriculum, and each week we're gonna give out weekly assignments, and students are expecting to do have 4 hours of homework per week. So and also we're trying to push students to create at least one piece of artwork in every 2 weeks as well. So based on our development, we're gonna give more than over 12 inspirational prompts via multiple aspects to not only inspire students for their AP portfolio, but also to broaden their horizon and overreaching visual art insights. This is also very beneficial for their future art practices. Um, so during these prompts, we like teacher will introduce the composition, visual structures, color schemes, artistic appreciation, medium and materials, art movements, narratives, and theme and topics. We're also going to provide some. We're also going to provide not only the art side, but we're also going to help them with their writing tutorial as well as various additional researches. Next slide. About our working space and material exploration. So as you can see from these pictures, the AP, our AP program are trying to create a spacious and immense activated working space to the students, so that we can support their enthusiasm and activities and creativities. Um, you can see more from the second slide as well. Um, next, next slide. So here at Calcolor, uh, at the heart of our program, we're trying to we're focused on individual attention. So we don't believe one size fits all approach. Instead, we provide a customized one-on-one portfolio plans for every student, tailored specifically for their backgrounds and interest. To make this possible, we maintain a very small class of capacity. So we strict it to 1 to 10 teacher to student ratio. This ensures that every student gets sufficient interaction and instant feedback while they work. Most importantly, our support doesn't stop when the class ends. So our instructor provides dedicated time, both and during and after class, to ensure no one falls behind. Here are some more classroom pictures. Okay, next slide. So our tracking system, we use two tracking system here. One is a Gantt chart, another is Google Classroom. So Gantt chart, we're trying to use it to do a project by project timeline. Students can use it to keep track on their current and future progress, help with their time management, and create their plan, a clear plan ahead. So Google Classroom teacher will use this to share and upload teaching materials, post the assignments and additional instructions, and also teacher will also use this to connect with the students. Next, I will be giving it up to Mr. Chow. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Junhao, for your very detailed introduction for APR program. So for the families who are interested to join our program, I would also like to explain the enrollment process and what we're looking for in the prospective student. So since this is a highly structured and portfolio focused course, students should already have fundamental. We assume the students should already have the fundamental drawing and painting skills, along with a strong enthusiasm, passion, and also especially the commitment toward the art and toward your portfolio. So because the class size is quite limited, and so we carefully review each student portfolio before acceptance. Our classes meet twice a week, with each session lasting about 2 hours. And the program runs throughout the academic year. Sorry, can you guys hear me? I think my earbuds out of the battery.
All right, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah, so the program runs throughout the academic year at our Cupertino location. Like for now, we mainly have the class in the Cupertino location, and in the future, we're making that expand to more other sites. So we provide a systematic curriculum with a personalized guidance in a small group setting, as you can see from the Junhao's introduction earlier. So the student receive both technical instruction and the individual feedback on their portfolio development. Acceptance and homework are also very important in this course. So the students are expected to actively participate, complete the weekly assignments for sure, and also consistently develop their project outside of the class. So since the AP are required long-term dedication, we want the students to build a strong work habit and time management skills throughout the year. Especially it's better to have some help from the parents to set up some working space in the house. So for the registration process, the family will first submit a portfolio review through our Google form. The portfolio could be just some random artwork that students make before or during the previous art classes in CalColor or in other studios. After the evaluation, acceptance notification will be released. And the admitted student will then receive a welcome packet with the preparation information, like a welcome letter thing. And this process helps us to make sure each student is placed into the right learning environment and fully prepared for the demands of the APR program. Then the next. So for the next one, I'd like to briefly talk about the overall structure of the APR program and how the school year is organized. You can see that in total, there's 38 weeks, which is our 2 semesters timeline. So during the first 2 weeks, the students begin with the AP theme brainstorming and the concept development. This is a very important stage because we encourage the student to build a portfolio around the personal idea rather than just creating isolated artwork, right? Your artwork is supposed to speak to yourself and really, closely relevant to your personal experience or any of the cultural background. We guide the students through the research, visual references, and also developing a very meaningful direction for their future assistant investigation. And then from the week 3 through around week 28, which is the middle section in the yellow color, the student will work on the series of project prompts and the major portfolio pieces. Throughout this period, we focus heavily on the composition, technical skill development, like experimentation with the different media, and also creating the visual strong artwork that reflect each student's individuality. This is also the kind of like requirements or criteria from the official AP Art College Board website. And then in the orange color around the week 29 to 30, the student will begin to prepare their writing evidence and our artistic statement, which are also a very important component of the AP submission. We also have an individual like a writing evidence tutorial slides prepared or like a lecture prepared for the students to fully understand the structure and how to prepare their writing sections. So then during the week 31st to 34, and we focus on finalizing the portfolio, refining the artwork, photographing pieces professionally, and preparing for submission. This is kind of like a wrapping up section in the end. And also after the AP submission period, the student will there's still gonna be like three more weeks to go. After the submission, the student will continue working on the independent creative project competition or advanced portfolio development. And overall, the course is designated to help the student not only prepare for the AP exam, but also kind of build like a mature and competitive art portfolio for the future opportunities. Yeah, that's pretty much for me. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you, Mr. Chow. All right. So, following that, I would like to invite Mr. Su, and then we'll go over some frequently asked questions. In fact, I've seen some of those questions pop up in the chat earlier. So, let's begin. So, first up, Mr. Su, what do you think is the difference between the current PD class and the new AP class?
Yeah, like if you apply for AP through Calculator, so it's best to select the AP courses. But if you want to do the AP, like submit the AP class through your regular high school, then consider PD courses.
I see. Now, is that completely necessary to transfer from PD to AP if we are already registered or enrolled in the PD classes?
Not needed. So yeah, it won't affect the current AP students.
Now, I know like a lot of students have a lot of APs to do. So what's probably the best time for students to start doing AP courses?
Yeah, of course. I also see this a question in the message popped out. The same question popped out earlier, so they can start as early as ninth grade. But it's best to avoid their senior year to submitting it to do it because their grades won't count towards their college application.
Mm. All right. What if like the student doesn't have much experience in art? Do we need a foundation in art at all?
Yeah, certainly, because like understanding of foundational art principles is very important for beginners. Exploring our PDP courses is great. It's a great start, like our sketchbook, drawing, painting classes.
Hmm. And then for when we're actually in the program, what kind of instructions will we get? What kind of information will students get from the program itself?
Yeah, we're gonna give them themed brainstorming as well as planning their portfolio, help them to develop their composition, visualize their idea, critique, and also give out critiques, technical improvements, and help them with their AP submission preparation. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to be spending upwards or even more than a year on this portfolio. Will we be able to use this portfolio as well for college applications?
Yes, in fact, many portfolio pieces created in this program, they are also used for their college application or scholarship or even in some art competition. Some people also can use it for some summer art program submissions too.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah,
you so much, Mr. Su.
yeah.
All right. We're winding down to the end. So before we get into the actual Q&A section, I want to introduce to you guys a couple of our alumni's portfolios. So I'll quickly go over some of the previous year's artworks from our top scoring students. So let's take a look, right? So this are fine art drawing students' artworks. Very, very beautifully drawn, right? We also have student artworks that are done with painting. So we're using utilizing acrylics, oils, right, watercolor, and sometimes even utilizing more than one medium to create a full-on piece, right? We also have multimedia artwork, so multimedia pieces. We saw a couple of those examples earlier in Isabella's portfolio as well, right? Very, very creative ways to present your very own artworks too. And finally, I know some parents have been asking about process pieces. These are some examples about process, right? We're showcasing the way that we think, the way that we have developed our pieces, the way that we have experimented, or even done practices to get ready for that final submission. Right. So at this point in time, I think we have a little bit of time left. Do you guys have any questions that you want to ask us? Uh, in the meantime, if you guys do have extra questions that pop up over the end of this Zoom meeting, right? You guys can also email us at teen@calculator.com, or you can follow us on our respective social medias like WeChat, Xiaohongshu, YouTube, and Instagram. All right. At this point, I'm going to stop the screen share because I can't see the I can't see the questions without stopping the screen share itself. So let's see. Uh, let's see. I see that a lot of the questions have already been answered here. So what was the last one that has been answered? Okay, let's move up from the bottom here. So first up, I see from Jingming, how to receive the application. We're late for today's meeting. Is there a recording available? I believe many people have asked about that. The recording will eventually be published, but it's not. It will be shared later on through our YouTube channel, if I'm not wrong. For the application, the deadline, I believe, is already over. Mr. Child, what's the information on that right now?
The deadline for submission?
Yes, for the AP arts, for
Oh,
our
it's
AP core submission.
AP course, AP portfolio submission, right? The the deadline's about like around May 10th every year.
No, I
Mm.
mean, I think they're asking the class, right? Apply the AP
Oh,
class.
class, okay.
Yeah. So we're going to after this webinar, we're gonna send out the application form, for whoever participated this seminar. Yeah, and also I put the application link in the chat as well. So if you want to apply now, you can just click the link in the chat. Yeah.
I see Summer asking, are there only 2 time slots per week for APR? There's only one APR right now in Calculator at the Cupertino location, but if you're taking an APR there, you have to take the 2 classes per week. So it's the only 2 time slots. I believe if, let's say, you are not able to make both, there's other workarounds that you can discuss with the teacher to see how you can still get the time that you need in class, like the feedback as well as the curriculum content too, right? I think that also answers Diana's question. It's currently only APR is only available at Cupertino. If you're in Belmont, I believe the class there would be PD, the PD class.
Yeah, we also in PD class will help students to build the AP portfolio. But for Belmont, currently we only have Wednesday class, right? So Joseph, do we have that digital PD in the Belmont right
We do
now?
not have digital PD in Port
Okay.
Belmont yet.
Yeah, but yeah, so right now, if you want to do with calculator, you can do Wednesday PD class, but it might take 2 years to finish the AP portfolio. If you want to finish 1 year, we strongly recommend it twice a week.
The contact for Belmont would be bm@calculator.com. From Leah, is the PD class the same as AP class in Calculus? It is very, very different. And as we were answering earlier, it is not necessary to transfer, right? If you're taking the AP class with Calculus, you're officially enrolled, then that will be the class on its own. But if you're already in the PD class, it is not necessary to transfer to take AP class, right? I also saw a question earlier on from Catherine. There's two parts. Should the student do AP exam through Calculator or her own high school? And then second up, when can a student take AP art classes? Is it right after PD portfolio development? What is the course path? So to answer this part, your first question, should the student do AP exam through Calculator or your own high school? This depends on you. The Calculator's course itself is a lot more structured and we have like a smaller class. We have our own benefits for the AP. If you're choosing to do it through high school, there's their own benefits, but you also come with the added like fact that a lot of AP classes in high schools are extremely huge. Teachers usually don't have the same amount of time as a smaller class setting. That being said, the high schools do grade the AP portfolio with GPA. However, with us, we do not offer GPA itself. In both cases, though, the AP grade, the AP score of 5 will be recognized the same by all the colleges, right? When should you take AP art class? It depends on what is necessary for you. So you could be in PE right now, but you're already in junior year, then you should take AP at that point. Don't want to wait until senior year. But if, let's say you have plenty of time from you're still in freshman year, maybe just in sophomore, there's plenty of time. You can wait a while before going into the AP class, right? Uh, yes, Diana, that's the correct one. And then there's the PD. Okay. From Avani, can PD class be used for portfolio submission to you? Yes. PD class artwork we actually developed for specifically for college art, portfolios as well, right? And then from Dina directly, like to me, can you repeat the part about transition from PD to AP? If you're in PD, you don't need to apply. No, that is not the case. So if you are applying to AP, right, you get into a different class altogether. In that case, when you apply to AP, you don't really have to transfer your PD class. You get immediately like slotted into the two class time slots for AP art. If let's say you are planning to do AP with your high school, right? Then again, the recommendation would be to do PD class with us while submitting your AP portfolio through the high school. I hope that clarifies your concerns, right? Is AP 2D art and design replacing the AP Studio Art? To answer your question, Katie, AP Studio Art refers to both AP 2D design and AP drawing. AP Studio Art teaches all the basic principles, but again, you can use both of the principles to target either the AP drawing exam or the AP 2D and design exam. So the thought processes are relatively similar. The way that you want to execute your portfolio is a little bit different. So that's why we teach both in the one class. From Diana, my teen also has art in her high school and they have a small class, so she can hope to take classes in Belmont in addition to her classes in her high school. Would that work? Yes, absolutely. Can she finish in 1 year? This is highly dependent on how fast you can work, right? If you are able to dedicate a good amount of time at home and make sure you do sufficient progress between classes, then it is much easier and much more possible to finish the full 15-piece portfolio in 1 year. If not, then it's going to be very difficult to guarantee that you can finish all 15 pieces. So it definitely depends on how well you manage your own time, right? My daughter only has 1 year. Can she start like in June or during summer? Uh, you can start preparing ahead of time, but the classes themselves will be starting only in fall. And And Alvin, do you have anything to say for that question?
You can also take a look at some portfolio class in Cupertino. Yeah, so as Joseph mentioned, right? So we also help students doing the AP in the PD class. Yeah, so if you want to start early, then you can take a look the see as the PD in the Cupertino or other location works for your schedule or not.
Hmm. Thank you, Alvin. Can the student take PD in the eighth grade through Calculus and AP Drawing in ninth grade from school? Absolutely. That's you can take both APs, and then if you can do one with us and then do one with the high school, that's totally possible. One disclaimer though, the pieces that you have done in the first AP should not be reused for the second AP. That's something just to keep in mind. Next up, you mentioned that the selection for AP class is merit basis. How does the student prepare their case or portfolio? Existing students of Calculator get any guidance for that? Mr. Chow, I think you can better answer this question.
Yes. So for the portfolio review, we mainly check on your basic skill set, including like some you can submit some random observational drawings, paintings, and just show your modeling skills and the measurement structure like accuracy. And also we check on if you have some like mainly themes or topic you're interested to develop since the APR program APR portfolio really check on your consistency of the topic development. So I would say like any previous artwork from your art classes or art practices or even the sketching thumbnails, feel free to just submit it to us. Yeah.
Mm. And then following that, another question that I think also is suitable for your answer is the curriculum same for the repeat year?
Yes, it's gonna repeat remain the same in the repeated year, but it's mainly about the individual case. Like we're going to talk to the students individually and tracking their status and work on their brainstorming and idea development. So everybody is in the individual different case. The curriculum is mainly just do the inspirational prompts to inspire them on the multiple aspects, like some art movement, materials, composition, formality, things like that. So that's going to repeat like generally, but we're still going to talk to the students as like a one-on-one instruction. Yeah.
All right. And then from Jingming, how many extra hours outside of two classes per week do students need to commit to each week? So as Mr. Su was talking about a little bit earlier, it is highly recommended that you guys commit at least 4 hours, and at least is just the bare minimum. It is strongly recommended that you guys go as many hours as possible so that you can finish up. I'll say the average that students will finish or dedicate to their AP portfolios outside of class is anywhere between 8 to 10 hours per week. And that is more for consistent results on finishing your portfolio on time, right? From Diana. So then thank you. So next step is contact bm@calculator.com and sign up for classes. Yes, currently we are already having classes. Our last week of classes is on the last week of May. After that, we're gonna go into summer camp. So summer camp will go all the way from June all the way to August 10th. During that time, we will not have any PD classes. So if you sign up for classes now, there will only be like 3 weeks left, but you can get a head start in terms of getting your ideas together, right? Getting some sketches and progress done. Then when class resumes in fall, then you would not be waiting like 2 months to resume your artwork. You can actually get a head start on all of your pieces from that moment on,
Um,
right?
And also for May 13th, the Wednesday, I will be in the Belmont. So if you have any question, if you want to talk to me, get more information, you can go to the Belmont site. I can answer your more question for you. Okay.
Mm. Thank you, Alvin. And then from Catherine, do you mean you can just pick one course between AP, Art, and PD? The student does not need to take both AP, Art, and PD, right? Because they're substitutable with each other. I would say pick one just because AP Art itself is quite intense. You're already dedicating 2 classes per week for AP itself. If you're able to get even more, then I would say it's up to you if you want to take the PD course, but that's like an additional class, right? I would not say that they're substitutable with each other though, because it's highly dependent on which class you are intending to follow. If let's say you're intending to submit with the high school, once again, that'll be the one that you want to go for with PD, right? But if you're taking and you're completing an exam through CalColor, then it is highly recommended that you go through the AP Art course. There, while we cover similar things in PD, you will not get the same kind of curriculum as you would in AP Art, right? And thank you, Alvin. Did you say the coming Wednesday, May 13th? Yes, May 13th at the Belmont location. All right. Uh, let's take a look. We currently have about 2 more minutes. If there is not any more other questions, right, then I think this has been a great session. Thank you everyone for joining. Happy Mother's Day, right? And I hope you guys got all the information you need. Once again, right, if you guys have any other questions that pop up after, right, feel free to email us at teen@calculator.com. I'm gonna type it out in chat. So you guys can actually message us. Oh, that was a private message. My bad. There we go. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your night.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Bye bye, everyone.
See y'all.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.